the Giants hired Joe Judge as Matt Rule was announced by Carolina, or at least reportedly going to Carolina. And the word is that he's now Carolina's coach, and now we know it's for a big fat contract. And the Giants are hiring Joe Judge. Now then, Joe Judge is 38 years old from Philadelphia, and here's his bona fides. He comes up through the Saban-Belichick system. There you go.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Saban got him as a special teams assistant from 2009 to 2011, and that's when Belichick snagged him. Special teams assistant for 3 years for New England, special teams coordinator for 3 years after that, and he added to his special teams coordinator role the position coach of wide receivers. Now, what a black hole that position was for all the years to hire a New England assistant coming off of a huge year. But he had to try his best, man. It's just like,
He started the year great.
I know. Let's just put it this way. Not a lot of chicken salad.
No.
And we'll leave it at that.
Indeed.
But the Giants heard from Joe Judge and liked him enough to either tell Matt Rule, according to Ian Rappaport, where Ian Rappaport said, reporting this, my colleague from the NFL Network, as he just tweeted out, one note on #Giants, Matt Rule called them before signing his 6-year deal with the Panthers and gave them the opportunity to match and lure him to get on the plane. They declined and hired Joe Judge instead. Adam Schefter, my buddy, long time ago from the NFL Network, now of the NFL coverage on ESPN for more. I think he's been with ESPN more years than he was with NFL Network now, unbelievably.
Oh, wow.
New York Giants finalizing the deal to make Patriots wide receiver coach Joe Judge their next head coach, league sources tell ESPN. Deal was in the works as of last night, which is another reason Matt Rule took the Panthers head coaching job. Now, those two reports can somehow be met in a Venn diagram right there in the middle. There's been this perception that Matt Rule was Giants' top candidate. More accurate, according to Adam, is that he was amongst the top candidates. From multiple conversations with people dating back days, there was as much interest in Josh McDaniels and Eric Bieniemy and Joe Judge, even this AM. So the Giants are going with Joe Judge over Josh McDaniels. Wow, that must have been a hell of an interview Joe Judge had with John Mara and Steve Tisch. And I presume Dave Gettleman. Must have knocked their socks off. Unless the Giants are like, hey, we saw what you did to the Colts last year, Josh. We're not going down that road.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know. Because that ain't happening here in New York City. You pulled it with Indianapolis, not here. So there's that. We're not going to hire you just to have Bob Kraft and Belichick save you from getting on the plane by adding another digit to the front of your salary. New York City, where Giants fans look around and see the big-time coaching hires and see even McCarthy. I know Dallas went McCarthy, and you could say retread or what have you. Guy doesn't have a trophy in the case. The last 3 coaches that the Giants have hired, Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge. Giants fans are going to freak out over this because the Giants fans think they should be able to lure Bill Cowher off the set at CBS, should be able to tell Lincoln Riley, come off the campus in Oklahoma, that they should come off the campus of Fox Sports and tell Urban Meyer, you're coming. They should be able to get whoever they darn well please. They should be able to actually ask Robert Kraft for permission to get Bill Belichick an interview to come home and finish his career with Daniel Jones. Not his special teams coordinator, wide receiving coach. And Giants fans weren't in the meeting room. They didn't hear Joe Judge probably lay out his 6-point plan for Daniel Jones, and they probably won't ever see his PowerPoint as to what he's bringing from the Saban-Belichick system that got John Mara and Steve Tisch to look at each other and say to Dave Gettleman, your instincts on Joe Judge are right, or guess what? This is the guy. But all rise. Aaron's not the only judge in town. It's now Joe. And the headline writers, Average Joe, Cup of Joe, Decaffeinated Joe, they can all write themselves.
I think we're gonna see an Average Joe tomorrow.
Coach Schmo.
Oh, good one. Oh,
I mean, we could keep going on and on and on here. That said, he can come in and do what? Bring the Belichick system, do your job, Giants. And as if Giants fans aren't freaking out enough that their general manager sounds like an extra from Good Will Hunting. Now here comes another guy from New England, technically, but by way of Philadelphia. And now you got to put your hopes and desires like this is the guy that's going to have to beat Doug Peterson. And yes, the guy's won his division now twice, and the NFC East champions won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And with Arcega-Whiteside and Boston Scott and our second-hour guest, Josh McCown, they got within one touchdown of beating the Seattle Seahawks in their stadium. So you got to beat Doug Peterson, and then you gotta be able to beat the Aaron Rodgers of the world. You got to outpoint Aaron Rodgers. You got to outpoint sometimes maybe Kirk Cousins. We'll see how that works out for the rest of this now. The San Francisco 49ers have built themselves a Jimmy G defensive juggernaut. You've got Seattle in this conference. You got Sean Payton and Drew Brees, who are assuming he's going to stay together for at least a couple more years. I can go on and on and on. Here in Los Angeles, Sean McVay. The Giants, for a third straight year, have a top 5 pick in the draft. And they went ahead and got Joe Judge as their head coach, who is going to be a difficult sell because he's never coached as a head coach anywhere. He's a graduate assistant at Mississippi State for Sylvester Croom, then went to Birmingham Southern to coach linebackers, and has been a special teams assistant for Nick Saban and Bill Belichick since 2009. That's it. And in case you're wondering, well, is he going to call the plays? In case you're wondering that, word on the street is, as if Joe Judge isn't a tough enough sell, the guy who the Giants have reached out for permission, because he's under contract right now, to hire as the offensive coordinator.
Don't say it.
Is Jason Garrett.
Oh, no.
Settle down just a little bit.
This is true. Sorry. I'm not jacking around with you today. This is the fact.
I don't have the patience to jack with you today.
They love him. He's been with the organization before. And this is the type of head coaching and NFL experience that you might want to marry to Joe Judge. The Joe Judge, Jason Garrett tandem will be such a difficult sell. I think Michael K. and WFAN may have to put in new phone lines to handle the business.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.